All right, it's your boy Q, aka Young Moolah, where we're going to dive into these best ball streets. Once more, we're going to be doing a pit bull draft. It's a 10 max entry, $20 fee. So we're going to go ahead and max this out. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do 10 of these, and I think I'm on my 8th one, so I got 2 more to do. We're going to go ahead and record this so we can chop it up later, just in case we got a few things to filter here and there. So I can get a little rambunctious, go off on some tangents, but we're trying to rein it in as we're getting used to this whole creative content enterprise that we're embarking on. And once again, this is GAB Sports. So we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. We are gentle and blissful, gifted and beautiful, generous and benevolent, and most observantly, grateful and blessed. We are GAB Sports, guidelines to achieve and build. Yes, and just again, just your boy Q, aka Young Moolah, with another installation here. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this pretty quickly here. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but I do have an upcoming video where I want to give my hot takes. It's called Don't Hate on These Hot Takes. And we're going to do about 8 to 10 takes. I just want to give you a heads up on that. Go ahead and like, subscribe to the channel here and support your boy on this journey. We'll go ahead and embark on this together. So let me go ahead and jump into this, see what we want to do here. What I was planning on doing is to do another zero RB. I think I'm going to stick to that if everything goes according to plan. But sometimes things don't go your way with the way the board falls, and you might want to change directions. I have no qualms about that whatsoever. So let's see how many people we're jumping in here with. Well, we have how many more to go to fill this puppy up? 3 more to go to fill this puppy up. That's fine. Fine and dandy. Okay, so that being said, yeah, we're gonna roll with that there. 2 more to fill in. All right, 2 more and we're at it, and we'll see what draft slot we get. Yeah, lately I've been loving to get the last few spots, 9 through 12. That seems to be a good spot to me for this year's best ball. You're getting 2 studs no matter what you do, 2 pretty much first rounders at that end of the draft. So the first few picks, I luckily haven't been getting that many. I don't really want that many of the first 2 picks. So other than my rankings, I have my rankings here, so we can go ahead and look at some of that before we get started here. All right. So my rankings were showing Chase, Bijan, Jefferson, Saquon. I got very little Saquon this year, though. I think I'm kind of okay. I got the 5th pick, so we can roll with it. 5th pick will definitely be okay. Don't have any qualms on that. Let me take off this audio stuff. I don't want to be hearing all. 5th pick. Who we going with? If we're going zero RB, who do you think we're going with? CD. Let's fill up our queue here. If he makes it to us, we rolling with CD. If not, I'm going to have to roll up Puka. We'll go with a Puka share. I don't have a problem doing that. No problem whatsoever. Okay, I'll be right back. Got to put this one on pause. So we're getting one of those guys no matter what. First round. Yeah, who do we get? We got CD. That's a nice thing. We aren't mad at that at all. Rolling with CD. Let's see what the draft board looks like. One. Why wouldn't we? My man Brock, CD Brock Power Starter. We loving that already. Yeah, I was telling my buddy that I think the strategy for this 10 max type of a contest, you might want to just stick with one strategy for the most part of your entries. And I started off trying to do that. Really did. I really did try to do zero RB on most of these entries here. But I got to about the 5th round, 4th, 5th round sometimes. And you're like, man, it's just the value at the running back is these are the last of the workhorses. So this year, there's not as many depth of workhorses that I really like that I want to trust to get to the 6 straight non-running backs on my roster. I think it's just prudent to sometimes not just go to the extreme, although I have gone to the extreme on some of them. So we'll see how this one works out. I got going through 2 rounds, so it's easy to breathe right now. But once it gets a little deeper into these drafts, sometimes, you just got to veer off to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. Sometimes you got to do your thing, but, let's see how it works out. Because there's only a few dudes that you can really like through. JSN, Josh Allen. Which one would you take? I think I'm going to go with JSN. Okay, JSN. I don't have a lot of shares of him, but I got some. I'm starting to get a little more. Let's see who else we want to take. The next round, let's load up the queue again. Non-running backs. There's only one running back I might consider in the next round, and I'll show you who that would be. Oh, well, if there's a big slide on certain dudes, like a Brees Hall, we'll definitely go that route. Let's see, Ted. Gotta put Ted in the queue. Put Worthy, J-Mo, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Jaden Daniels, DK Devontae. One of these, Hampton's probably the only dude I would consider if it was just him and one other person left in my queue. I would kind of have to look at it. Hampton. Starting to really dig the vibes coming out of LA as far as how they're going to utilize this dude. I really think he's just going to outclass Najee Harris. I really do. They spent the first rounder on this guy. They beefed up the offensive line, bringing over Becton from Philly. He could be in for a big year. This guy Hampton, rookie year. Don't discount that. Big season. You know Harbaugh and Roman, they want to just pound the rock, even though they got a great quarterback. But this team, with the Roman style, he wants to run, 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 run. Run, Force, run. Okay, Worthy, J. Moss. Or do we veer off and take a Daniels? Jaden Daniels, come back with Debo at some point, maybe the 6th round. Got some options here. I'm not a big fan of Worthy, but I think I want some Chief shares just to round out the portfolio. I don't have a lot of Chief shares. So we'll get a Worthy share here. Who knows? Maybe we might add Patrick Mahomes. 7th round. It's a possibility. See how the draft flows. Yeah, see how it flows there. 5th round. I'm pretty sure there'll be a receiver here I like amongst these guys here. Flowers, Waddle, Ridley. Pickens in there. I'm not a real big fan of Pickens. He's just too much of a knucklehead. He's in a perfect spot to try to resurrect his career, maybe get another contract. He'll find some way to muck it up. And that's what knuckleheads do. They just knucklehead themselves out of money. Just like basketball, Malik Beasley. What the hell are you doing gambling on games for when you're already in the NBA? Do you know how fortunate you are to be in the NBA? And now you want to gamble the games you're in? What the hell are you doing, knucklehead? Some dudes just don't have the sense, to count their blessings. That's why you got to be grateful and blessed. Because you're blessed, man. Yes, I'm glad he took Pickett's head. So now we got our choice. Just wringing my hands here. We get Hunter, Ridley, Portland Sutton. We're gonna go Calvin Ridley. I love him this year. Yeah, because I'm getting a real good vibe about Cam Ward right about now. I think he's positioned himself to, maybe have a better rookie year than most are expecting because everybody thinking that this rookie class of quarterbacks is so shitty that, they just lumping him into that. But actually, this dude might be the one dude who's really like an elite player, right? So if everybody's kind of lukewarm on this class and they're basically just throwing all the quarterbacks away in this class, there might be this one guy, the top pick in the draft, who might just really be special. What if he just comes out the gate figuring everything out, or at least by mid-season, he's lighting it up, and then he's going like, 13th round, 12th round. So I'm getting his top target right here. Let's roll. I say I got 3 buys week 10, so we got to look at that a little bit. Make sure we don't continue to grab those kind of dudes. So let's see what we want to do here now. Do we want to continue to go that way, or do we want to start going a different route? We'll figure it all out because that's what we do. 6, 9, 9. So RJ Harvey, I think RJ he's kind of mixed vibes here, but because the signing of J.K. Dobbins has certainly put a little damper on that once lustrous shining star. But he still could do some damage in that Sean Payton offense. But we'll see. I just I think I'm gonna have both shares of both guys in equal amounts, pretty much. Maybe probably a little more Dobbins. I can't lie. I love J.K. Dobbins. I think he's very underrated. All right. Don't have much Jerry Judy. We're here in the 6th round. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna take our first back? What's running back looking like? Gonna push it. Gonna push the envelope. Gonna take Judy. The 6 straight non-running backs. Yep. All right. Now, gonna have to start looking at some running backs for sure now. So, which ones do we want to look at? These right here. Pollard, Aaron Jones. One of these guys. Or do we do the unthinkable and roll it all the way to round 8? Do we have the cojones to pull that on? We do. Because there's a certain guy who, if things just fall their way slightly here and there, he could really bring back a lot of value as my RB1 in a zero RB build. So we might test it out. It's this guy right here. I just put him in my queue. His name's Jordan Mason. A little twisted ankle here, something like that from Aaron Jones. Oh, we don't even have to do it. We can get Swift. I definitely am okay with Swift. He's being my RB1. Definitely okay with that. We'll take it. Swift, I think, is in a position since they didn't really bring in much an off-season acquisitions as far as the draft or free agency. They didn't bring in much to challenge this guy. Doesn't he have kind of a clear path to some pretty good volume here as the running back in a pretty highly anticipated offense from Ben Johnson? I mean, he's got some traction here to maybe get a nice piece of that pie though. So let's see if he can take advantage of it. I'm gonna bet he probably does. Maybe a career year out of Swift. So I'm starting to get some shares. Was kind of lukewarm at first, but since they never did get anybody, you kept waiting and waiting. Are they gonna sign J.K. Downs? Are they gonna sign Nick Chubb? Anybody, somebody. They're gonna draft anybody. Al Manangais. Who the hell is that? I don't believe that he's much of a threat. I mean, he might, if this guy falters, yeah, then Kyle Monangai becomes some sort of potential piece. Right at the gate, they're going to let Swift see if he can do something. And if he does it, hey, man, it'll pay off. All right, let's see what we're doing. Come on, let my homie slip. Let my homie slip, you dirty rat. Let my homie slip. Because none of these guys have Rasheed Rice right here, so why would they draft Mahomes, right? They don't have Rasheed Rice. Good. I'll go ahead and take Mahomes right here. One of Mahomes' share. Take him. Okay, now we got to start looking at some running backs. No doubt about it. I'll put Higgins in here just in case. Just went. Scatterbo Tracy. We'll put both of those in here. Najee Harris. I'll tell you who I'm higher on the most. You can see him in my queue here, right here. Javonte Williams. It's not that he's a special guy or talented, really talented back. We know that he's kind of scrubbish. He's kind of, not a guy. He's just a guy. So, but he's getting an opportunity though. So that's the kind of thing that I'm banking on is that he takes advantage of this opportunity, or he might finally get a workhorse workload. And if he's healthy enough and he's approaching this situation with the right mindset, knowing that this could be his springboard to another contract, could be worth betting on that because a lot of people aren't going to be highly exposed to this guy. I got like almost 18-20% probably because of the price tag. So we're just going to go ahead and keep rolling with it. All right. If this guy falls, that would be a bonus because I wasn't expecting him to fall. Let's see what blue. Right. Right into my hand. Sometimes drafts, they just fall the way you need them to fall, man. We got Mason as our number 2. I was thinking he might have to be my number 1. And we got him as the number 2. Are we excited or what? Hell yeah. All right. Let's just go ahead and punch the ticket to round 2 right about now. Yeah, I'm sounding a little, feeling myself a little cocky. But when you go 0 RB and you kind of get the first 2 guys that, you was thinking that if I really push this envelope, these are the kind of the ideal guys you want to be there for this type of build, and you get it, damn right I'm ready to punch my ticket to round 2. So if it happens, I was on the mark. I label my drafts too. After I finish the draft, I say, either this is a draft that I really like. I'll try to say something like, see you in round 2, see you in the playoffs, or 0 RB winner, something like that. So I'm gonna follow this team, especially since I've creating a video for drafting this one. So we'll go ahead and follow this team, see how it does. I'll have an update. Again, watch my upcoming video. Don't hate on these hot takes, at least next week or so. And we'll be coming out with that right here in the middle of the best ball summer to keep things live and active. Don't hate on these hot takes. Coming soon. All right, which round we in? 10th round? All right. I didn't even see if Kelsey was around, but, he's probably not. These guys like to take Kelsey. Let's see what this is looking like. Kelsey, Scatterbo. We might need another running back. How about that? Let's see if we need another running back here. Another running back, folks? Najee? Javonte? Look at Javante's projection. It's so low. But guess what? I'm not following their projection. I'm following mine. But then again, maybe I can get him later too. So we'll go ahead and take a receiver here just to round that out too. Don't forget about the receivers. Burden, did we get him? Yes, we did. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take a receiver. So we got 1-2-6-1 build here. That sounds pretty good. 1-2-6-1 build. We'll roll with that so far. Spread out the buy since we got up to that three players with week 10, and then we start to dilute that. So that's good. What's my second quarterback looking like? Yeah, we got some options here. Options. Maybe we go three quarter, or maybe we pull a surprise quarterback. I do have a surprise quarterback, and they're much later, so I'm not even punching that tab yet. But we will punch the running backs, and we need some tight ends, right? We got Brock Bowers, man. Forgot about that one. I got Brock. Save the flock, Brock. I just drafted one of my pit bulls, like my sixth or seventh one, and I only have Brock Bowers. I got a one tight end build, a 3-5-9-1 build. Can you motherfucking do that? Sometimes you have to be extreme. Go ahead and get another share of Javante right there. No, it's another week 10 buy, but it's also my backs don't have a week 10, so that's fine. But yeah, can you really do that? Do you have the intestinal fortitude to stomach a one tight end build? I mean, I'm not going to do it like over and over and over and have 25% of my portfolio with that. But hey, a couple drafts, sometimes you have to be extreme. You have to be out there a little bit. And that's one of them I just felt like, hey, man, I'm going to push the envelope on this. I'm just going to roll with Brock. I'm not going to do that here. I can tell you that now. I'm going to draft another tight end for sure. Might be the backup for Kansas City, Noah Gray, something like that. But probably only one more tight end. So we'll see what we do. Come up in the 11th round here. Let's see who we want. Hollywood to add to the stack, possibly. Not John. I haven't moved him down yet. We need to move that guy down. Mims for some correlation. Somebody took Hollywood. Little haters. There's always going to be haters in this stratosphere, of best ball. They see you building something, but they just want to kind of tear it down, put a little dent in. But it doesn't stop us, You just pivot to something else, man. If you don't get your dude that's helping your team, building your stack, you don't fret. You just keep stepping, man, and get your next dude. I might take this guy a little earlier than anticipated, but I do need a back, so I'm going to stick with a back. We're hedging against Christian McCaffrey, so we're going to bump up Isaac Guerrero. I also do like Trey Benson. At some point, James Conner's got to slow down, doesn't he? And just goes off the board. We're going to go with Guerrero just in case. CMC's Achilles and ankle start bothering him again. What happens then? They turn to Guerrero. And an offense that's probably a good bet to move the ball and score some points. Get some Guerrero shares, no doubt about it, especially if you don't have a lot of CMC, which I do not. Full disclosure, I had a total fade, 100% fade on CMC last season. Maybe one of the fewest to do it. I got to pat myself on the back for that one because, yeah, I certainly did it. And if you ever want proof, say, YUUNGMOOLAHH, show us proof. I'll go to my portfolio. I'll go to my exposures. I'll show you all that. But a real true G, they never just lie about what they're talking about. They just do it and say it and they mean it. And that's that. But yeah, at some point in this process, I'll get to some of my exposures and share some of my exposures. But I'll cover a lot of that on my hot takes. Don't hate on these hot takes video that's coming up. But for now, just take my word for it. All right, let's see what we got going here. We got a 1-4-6-1 build. Let me open up the quarterback. See what we got. Go Leggett here. If he's here, we definitely will. Oh, he took Bryce Young. What is this guy doing? He took Bryce Young. I'm going to take Rashad White. Does this guy got Ted or something? Blue Rider Strong? Let's see who you got. What made you take him? Nothing. You're just hoping to backstack him. He had two solid quarterbacks already. What is he doing? Yeah, that's the thing about these drafts sometimes. Sometimes dudes are doing stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense, and you just have to ride with it because if you got two strong quarterbacks, you don't need Bryce Young as your third. That's how I think. Man, I spent a fourth and a 10th on quarterbacks. You know what I do when I spend a fourth and a 10th on the quarterbacks? Stop. Yeah, that's all I need. Two quarterbacks right there in that range, and they should. If they can't get you to the promised land, then your draft was shitty anyway. So that's okay. We'll find another backup. We got Darnold. We got Shuck. We got Flacco and Sanders. How about that? Maybe I go three quarterbacks. Sean. What about a late Besh? I see Besh slipping a little bit here in these streets. Why is that? I don't know. We're going to go ahead and take Darnold. Just so we can round out our roster pretty good here. I don't have to really worry about another QB. So we'll take Darnold here in the 14th. about 12 picks ahead of ADP, but there's no guarantee it gets back to me with these guys kind of scrambling. Some dude has 4 quarterbacks. Other dudes might take a third. You just never know when you're in these streets, especially these non-Badgers. They'll go ahead and do something like that. So I'll just go ahead and lock up my second quarterback. And now we can move up all these other players up ahead of the quarterbacks. Train, no, same bye week as my guy. Wandale, Shipley, Michael Wilson, Miles Sanders, double down on Dallas. Marshawn Lloyd, we really like. Mason Taylor. Oh, Jack Best just continues to fall, huh? Oh, why not? Sure, there's been not great news, but this guy's a baller with a lot of determination. And he's pretty much focused on proving the doubters wrong, and he's playing with a passion for his late brother, things like that. You can't bet against dudes like that. Sometimes there's just a certain aura that's following dudes where they just have that magical like presence. There's like an angel just kind of just guiding them. You can't explain stuff like that to all these data heads and think that everything comes down to data. No, everything doesn't come down to data in the NFL. Some things is about heart. Some things are about your attitude. Some things are about your contract. Those are the kind of things I'll be talking about on Don't Hate on These Takes. You got to consider other stuff. Football is the least data driven sport because it's an individual like occurrence that happens. Downs, big plays, those things aren't predictable. Those things just happen because of matchups, because of just talent. So you got to be able to. I consider myself a football knower, a pretty good judge of talent. That's why I have to admit I predict a lot of breakouts because I'm judging dudes off what I think they can do in the NFL as far as their abilities to translate their skill set to this next level. Because not everybody can do that. Not everybody has that feel for seeing the kind of skills that translate, the vision that the running backs must have, the acceleration and burst, the route running, the separation skills that a receiver has that. You got to be able to see that sometimes without hearing all these reports, without looking at these numbers, things like that. Numbers don't always tell the story, but you do have to use data. Don't think, we're not just drafting without any data, but I follow all these content creators. All these guys are putting out good stuff, no doubt about it. And I just absorb that. I let y'all do all that kind of work. You guys do all digging through all the data, and I just absorb the information. What's relevant, I keep. What's not, I just pass it on. Because not everything is going to be relevant. We go Marshawn Lloyd. Yeah, it looks like it. So somebody already took my dude Thornton. I wasn't paying attention for a minute. That's a shame if they did. I didn't see him in the queue here. Okay, need a couple running backs. Got 2 more picks. 2671. Tavian, Fryer move. Everybody getting scared of Fryer move, huh? MVS, Juwan, Tucker. People forgetting about Tucker, aren't they? Taj Brooks. People forgot about Tucker. 17th round here. We'll go ahead and get our backup tight end. Juwan. Do we add MVS to this roster? 6 backs, Swift, Mason, Vontae, Rendo, Marshawn Lloyd. Or do we add that 7th back? Go 2772, 268. Which is the question? What is the question? See what our receiver room is looking like. We want to add one more dude to this. Kind of like that receiver room. Yeah, I do kind of like it. One more big play dude. It's either one more big play dude or one more flyer running back. How about Elijah Moore? Is he available? There's a sneaky pick that I've been loading up on lately. Elijah Moore, MVS. Elijah Moore, MVS. Might take Elijah Moore, but I don't know. See when we get here. Todd Brooks, JSN, Tucker. We got Rashad White. We don't need Sean Tucker. All right, I'm going to go MVS. To kind of expand that stack we got with Sam Darnold. Okay, we did it. We did it. We did another pit bull. Just finished. So look at our roster here. Let's round it out. We got Patrick Mahomes, Sam Darnold. I'm not gonna write home about this quarterback room. But it's solid. Mahomes could have a bounce back year. So we got the skinny with him, I think, and then we got Darnold. Not a huge Darnold fan, but he's got good coordinator over here and Clint Kubiak. Change the scenery. Some pretty decent weaponry here to work with. See what he can do. So solid quarterback room. Let's go back to our draft. Where did it go? Where did they go? Pitbull. Okay. Holmes Darnold. Running back room. Swift. We waited till the 7th round, did that 0 RB thing. And this is a true 0 RB. So we went 6 rounds without drafting a running back. Landed our first, DeAndre Swift. So it's pretty good, I would say. I'm really okay with that. Jordan Mason, second back, we took in the 9th round. I couldn't have asked for anything more. I got him a little past ADP even. With a little luck here, this guy could be flirting with running back 1 territory. And Jones is always nicked up here and there. What if he gets like a knee injury, he's out for half the year or something? Not that I'm, calling for injuries or begging for injuries from people, but that stuff happens. It's the NFL. Injuries happen. Regardless of an injury, this guy's probably already penciled in for the goal line work, the high value touches coming his way anyway. So Jordan Mason can get busy with not a lot of volume. Give him about 12, 15 touches a game. This guy can put some work on those. Okay, Javonte Williams, one of my undervalued, underrated players for this fantasy season. Now, this is just a 1 year proposition. I'm not claiming that Javonte Williams is here to stay or that he's going to really just become a top tier player in NFL. But for this season only, he's got a wonderful opportunity. Great landing spot. Dallas being a team that's defense is taking a little step back. He might be able to, put up some numbers given a volume of touches. And we got Isaac Guerendo. So we're actually taking this one as a bet against CMC. CMC to me is one of those risky calls where it's either people want to be really happy that they loaded up, or people going to be really sad that they stayed on the sidelines. And I'm one that stayed on the sidelines. Show it to me, buddy. Show me that you can bounce back and be that guy once again. Because once Achilles start hurting, I'm not sure if those things get better. I tore my Achilles, in fact, a couple years ago. So I'm a witness. Those things can kind of mess you up for a while. Then we got Rachaad White, kind of a fallback option. I kind of wanted another guy there. Maybe, who was I looking at that point? I think it was Trey Benson, Ray Davis. It's a little past Ray Davis, but hopefully he would be there. And ideally, I wanted that combination, that receiver combo of Leggett, Bryce Young, but Bryce Young went, so I passed on Leggett. Anyway, took Rachaad White. Hey, man, Bucky Irving, yeah, round 2. Let's see if you can deliver like you did round 1, Bucky. Sometimes the second season's not as great, so we got a hedge here. Rachaad White. Sean Lloyd, another backup. So we got several backups on this kind of a build. Anytime you have a 0 RB, you got to go with some quality backups who at least have some standalone value roles, and they may get some contingency value added to, their production, to where if these guys get the full load or a guy goes down in front of them, the sky could be the limit for guys like this. So Marshawn Lloyd, who from all accounts sounds like he's doing pretty good this offseason with his own health. So we took him as our last and final back. Pretty deep room, nothing special, but hey, let's get to the receivers though, because this is where we're going to make our money here this year on this team. Starting off with CeeDee Lamb in the number 5 spot. We're going 0 RB. That was the goal from the outset. Second receiver we got is JSN. We all know the second receiver we got is Brock Bowers. So we start off with CeeDee Lamb, Brock Bowers, JSN. Pretty strong start there. We got another number 1 receiver in JSN who could take off this year, maybe have a big year. And then we go with Xavier Worthy. Kind of light on the shares of Worthy this year, but I figured Mahomes may be available 7th, 8th round. I didn't really want to take him in the 7th, and I didn't. So I pushed him to the 8th, and he came to in the 8th. So I think that was a pretty good decision there, and then we stack him with Worthy. Okay, so now we got Calvin Ridley in the 5th. I'm kind of high on Calvin Ridley this year, to be quiet as kept, But don't tell everybody, all right? But Calvin Ridley, with an ascending prospect of a quarterback, maybe this guy takes off. Calvin Ridley has one of his best seasons ever. Yeah, that's possible. That's how you got to think when you're drafting. You got to think everything I'm doing is going to turn out to be the best case scenario. Because that's how you win the big bucks. You got to have the best case. Everything got to hit. You got to just slap everything, man. You just got to slap shit in the face. And everything got to hit, man. So you got to think of the world of these kind of outcomes. Jerry Jeudy, everybody's knocking the Cleveland Browns. But the Cleveland Browns, they got some pretty good weapons around the perimeter and in the backfield. So if the quarterback, whoever that may be, from Flacco to Shador Pickett, whoever they put behind there. If you can just get the ball into your weapons' hands, these guys can make some plays. So Jerry Jeudy, he falls into that category. Another underrated offense that everybody's kind of sleep on. Then I just took this pick, Luther Burden. Oh man, there's the potential there, loaded with possibilities, right? So if he comes around, he's one of those post-buy bump dudes that you hopefully late in the season, around week 9, 10, he starts to find his traction. By the playoffs, when you really need him, maybe he's just lighting it up at that point. Maybe he could be the best receiver at that point on the team. He's got that kind of talent. Then I got a Jack Best, 20 picks past ADP. We know he's falling. Everybody's on the Dante Thornton train, which I'm going to tell you, but to be quite frank, I started the Dante Thornton train. I was drafting Thornton when nobody was drafting him. I'll prove it to you. Anyway, he's part of my hot takes too, Dante Thornton. But Best, I do got some Best shares early in this process too. So now I can get one a little later, and we'll go ahead and take a gamble on that. And lastly, to fill out our receiver room, we got MVS to add to our Darnold stack. So we're going with a double stack of Darnold. See how that works. A few big plays, a couple spike weeks. We'll take that from you, MVS. And rounding out our team, the 2 tight ends, Brock Bowers. Nothing needs to be said. He might win me a whole enchilada this year. Then we got Juwan Johnson just to give him a little relief every now and then. And Juwan has been a playoff deliverer. So that'll do it for our team here. And we'll go ahead and sign off here. Your boy Young Moolah, GAB Sports. Like and subscribe. I'll be back again to finish this off. Peace.